Hi, and welcome to Death in Cambodia, Life in America, a podcast where I interview my father, Robert Chow, one of the first survivors of the 1970s Cambodian genocide. He survived the killing fields, navigated through the jungles of Thailand, and escaped to America to build an empire in the donut industry. After about 40 years, I think it's about time he got a chance to share his story. I'm Dorothy, his daughter, and your host for today's episode. Let's dive in. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is episode 2 of Death in Cambodia, Life in America. So last episode, we talked about his childhood, city that he was born in, his past, his personality. This episode, we are going to slowly merge into how he started kind of hearing about Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge and the early beginnings of that stage. So, Ba, welcome back.
Hello, everybody.
So today I wanted to kind of get into when you started really hearing about the Khmer Rouge, Pol Pot. How did you feel? Do you remember how old you were when you started hearing about Pol Pot, communism, Khmer Rouge? Did you know what that was? What do you remember from the very, very beginning?
At that time, I was 13 years old. I still live with grandma and grandpa in a small city. So I didn't know much about Khmer Rouge that much because I was, little, well, not that little, 13, 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in Cambodian, the new, it's not like today's new. You just turn on the TV and then you can hear everything and know everything what's going on in the country. But at that time, Cambodia was a very, very poor country, probably the poorest country in the world. So you didn't hear much. And
no television like today.
No television.
All the news you had to hear through the radio?
Mouth to mouth and radio.
Mouth to mouth.
Yeah. And you're talking about the city in Montgomery. It's a pretty good sized city, but everybody know everybody in that town. So if anything has happened, I mean, just take only 1 hour, 2 hour, everybody know, because in the morning everybody come out and go to buy
the market,
free market, and they see each other, they talk, anything's happen that day or that night.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know much about the Khmer Rouge, but I heard from the friend or family mention about Khmer Rouge, but I didn't really pay much attention. Khmer Rouge, Khmer, it means Cambodian.
Right?
Rouge is a French word. It's red. It means communist. Yeah.
I see. So Cambodian communist is what
Cambodian
it means.
communist, Khmer Rouge. They have two parties versus Sihanouk, the king of Cambodian party, and then the other side is Long No. So one part is supported by America, and the other Khmer Rouge party supported by China.
Mm-hmm.
So I was living with grandma and grandpa up until 13 years old. So when grandma and grandpa told me you need to move back home because the Khmer Rouge is getting close to our town now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to be responsible for
your safety,
all of these things. So I was moved back home to live with
mom and
dad.
And so did mom and dad have a plan when you got back home? I'm sure at that point they're getting kind of scared.
Well, everybody getting scared because my parents owned quite a bit of a business to manufacture. We have 300-400 employees. So we were considered pretty wealthy in that poor country.
Right.
We have a car. We have 3 cars actually. We have a Mercedes. We have motorcycle. Yeah, I was so happy when I moved back home. I have a motorcycle and I have people that cook for me, and I just live like a spoiling, rich kid. And it just
And at this point, you hadn't lived with Mama and Yeye. And so now you finally get to go home and you get to see them every day. And when you came home, they're rich, they're servants, and you knew that the communists were targeting these kind of people.
Oh yeah. I can see my dad was worried, and he tried to send me out of the country, but I then tried to do passport and send me to Taiwan. But things change. Khmer Rouge moving so fast at that time. 1978, that's what they moved into, too close to all the city in Cambodia. I mean, all the whole country. And at that time, I think now beginning of 1979, then they're very aggressive.
Historical content. Okay, so first of all, I wanted to correct Ba right there. It was not 1978-79. That would have been after the war. It's actually 1975 that the Khmer Rouge took over the capital of Cambodia, which is Phnom Penh. So I want to backtrack a little bit because I realized that not everybody really knows about the Khmer Rouge. I mean, as I said, it's not really mentioned in history books. And so just to give you guys a little bit of historical context here, we're talking about the 1960s, 1970s, Cold War, communism versus democratic countries. You've got these big players out there that are trying to claim power over these small Southeast Asian countries in order to kind of gain power for their separate parties, whether it be communism or democratic. So, there's a ton of turmoil just in general going on in the country of Cambodia. The big government officials have different opinions. And so political chaos everywhere. The country is looking for, a different solution. I think at this point, people are a little bit more open to hearing about what these radical parties may really have to say, So at the time, Khmer Rouge, as we're talking about, which means Cambodian Red Party, was originally a radical group of communists that started out as just a small group out in the countryside. But because of all the dissatisfaction with the country, I think they slowly started to grow bigger and bigger. And so I think it's really, really important to actually point this out because we want to be sensitive to the fact that these people aren't initially bad people. I'm a deep believer in the fact that I don't think anybody is really born bad. But, when you take people and convince them of a way of thinking from a very, very young age, we'll start to realize that a bunch of these Khmer Rouge soldiers were actually only between the ages of 12 to 14. When you start young kids and start telling them that this is the way and this is right and this is right, they end up growing up thinking that that is the way, right? And so I think, as I said, the country was in a time of turmoil already. The rise of the Khmer Rouge happened because of that, and their thinking was very, very radical. As we can learn later on, maybe they thought that it was better for the country, but actually really was quite detrimental just because of how radical they were. But their thinking really was a cleansing of the entire country, right? They were thinking, quote unquote, out with the old, in with the new. Let's reject everything that we've ever known and let's get rid of all the Western things that were man-made. So that's where we're talking about cars, and really just wanted to kind of hit the reset button. And so, I mean, as we've seen historically, every time bad people try to hit the reset button, it's never quite the way that they planned. But that's what they were thinking. They wanted to be self-reliant on themselves. They were intensely nationalistic, and they wanted to figure out a way to really just not depend on any other country besides themselves. So, that's a little bit of the historical background of kind of what's going on. Let's get back to the episode.
And then at that time, I can feel it. And then my dad told me, I said, let's move to Thailand. So let's move. I think we did move to the border of Thailand. The name of that town is called Ojrao. Ojrao, when you cross the small bridge, it's just a small river, and then you cross to Thailand. So we have a house close to the border of Thailand. So what he was planning, if something go wrong, and then he just walk across to Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
So we did move over there for 1 month, and then he decided to move back to Montgomery because he said, hey, I think everybody stay. I think I don't think Khmer Rouge is not gonna change anything, any law, any rule. So it's gonna be a freedom country.
What do you mean by that? So his plan was to go to Thailand or to the border of Thailand, but then he decided to move back because he wasn't scared of the Khmer Rouge.
No,
he didn't think
because all his friends were staying.
So
no one that really move out the country, and then plus he got a lot of things to
take care of.
And plus, he doesn't really want, because all his business, all his people, and he still just follow a look at all his friends that was so successful than him. He said they don't even want to
move out.
So why
maybe
me?
the fear wasn't really hitting anybody yet.
No.
They felt like, okay, maybe this is something that will pass. Maybe this is, I have important things to take care of, so I'm just going to move back, and maybe this is something that will blow over.
Yeah, and then at that time, the communists didn't take over yet. Everybody know that the Khmer Rouge will take over the country pretty soon. We feel it, we see it, we saw it, and
but you didn't think they were going to be violent and aggressive and start.
For me, I was
too young.
Really enjoy the motorcycle, the rich, that I didn't really have that lifestyle, so I didn't really pay attention much about the Khmer Rouge. I just enjoy my rich life.
Right.
And I drove the Mercedes without a driver license. I don't need the driver license because Dad is so powerful, rich and Cambodian. If you have money and you have the law on your hand too. I mean, that country, that's the way.
A lot of small corrupt countries. That's pretty common. So you guys moved back to Mongolpure. What happened?
Friendly.
They were friendly.
They tell everybody, calm down. We're not gonna do anything. We're not gonna change anything. Just live in your normal life. So everybody believed that. So we moved back to Mongolpure. I drove the Mercedes to another border of Thailand called, what's the name of that city? That city, they have a lot of ruby.
Red rubies?
Red ruby, blue ruby. A
lot of gems.
A lot of gem, yes. And I went to that city and stayed there for a whole 3 weeks with the Mercedes. I was only 14 years old. And when the Khmer Rouge took over, I was in that city. I didn't
know what was going on.
Stay with the parent.
Mm-hmm.
My parent couldn't contact me because we didn't have a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing that he able to contact me through the taxi driver, because the taxi driver that they go and then
You can pay him, and then he can
bring
take the
letter,
message.
take the message to you. So I got the message. He told me to come back home
Now,
or you can go ahead and cross to Thailand. I'm not going to cross to Thailand because I don't know. I didn't know anyone.
You're 14 years old. Your family's here.
And then I just love that Mercedes. Oh my God. And so I drove it back to Battambang. Battambang is the capital. It's a capital of state.
Mm-hmm.
So Montgomery, it's a city.
Mm-hmm.
So I drove to Battambang, to the state, and stayed with the friends. And at that time, the Khmer Rouge is already all over the capital, the city. Took over the whole Cambodia.
Where did these people come from? They're Cambodian, but it was a small group at first. I don't know if you knew at that time, but
I think what I heard was Chinese soldier and recruit the poor people and the countryside people. The people have no education, so they recruit all of that and
gave them
try
uniform.
to do the brainwash them.
Right.
They started with give them food, give them clothes, because Cambodia was poor. I tell you, a countryside, even
poor,
hard to find the food put on the table to raise how they raise the children. But I think they just try to survive. So when this group to recruit and give clothes and explain to them, they say all the government rip off you guys. That's why you guys couldn't have any food put on the table.
You're struggling so hard.
So they love it. They just joined the party in the forest and carried the rifle and fought for them. And then all of these people, all these soldiers, age ranging from 10 years old up. And 10 years old, they just like
a baby.
I think it is easy to tell them what to do.
Right.
You tell them to kill, they kill. They just no remorse. They just kill you, I think, and you tell them to torture, to open, cut the throat. They cut throat. That's what these Khmer Rouge training all of these kids.
So you moved back. So you drove back.
No, I drove back to Battambang. So they stopped me because that's what they target. The people that have Mercedes car and jewelry, watch, anything that they want, they just stop you. They just ask you. They said, "Okay, I want your watch." I saw in my own eye when they stop one of the family, drove the car, nice clothes, have a lot of jewelry, and then have a watch. So they stop and they said, okay, they call Anka. Anka, that mean the party. Party want your watch, your jewelry. And then I think the husband didn't want to give the watch. So they just go ahead and shoot them. Shoot the husband and kill the husband and kill the wife in front of the two children, age probably 6-7 years old. Just kill in front. And then after that, people saw that, so they stopped me. I'm just behind that family, so I didn't have any watch. I didn't have anything. So they stopped me. They just look at me, look at the car, and they let me go. So I went into the city. So I stayed with my dad's friends in the city for 2-3 days. I believe it was about 3. It's no more than 1 week. So then it's just starting, they're starting changing every single hour. The rule, the law start changing every hour. So now they announce it. all the people that work for the government officers, soldier, school teacher, all of that. We want you to gather and meet us at one school. I think it's a university. So we want all of that people meet you at this time. So we gotta go ahead and take you to one place so we can educate you. So I mean, at that time, nobody know what's going on actually. So whatever they told us, I think they just follow. But everybody now was a little bit nervous because they saw it's shooting, killing. Now they're afraid, and then people talk because they just shoot you if you don't give it the watch or anything that they ask for. They just kill you in front of everyone. So everyone's scared. Everyone was so panicked at that time. A few group that was scared so bad, they just took off and straight to Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
Just a small group. So they took my car, so I have no way between capital Battambang to Mongkol because of the road. It's not that good, so you cannot drive more than 25 miles per hour. So it took about 4 to 5 hours from Battambang to Mongkol to where my parents live. So now they took my car, so I have no transportation. But I think a lot of people try to stay in the house, don't want to go out.
Right.
So the first thing that they want to get rid of, that later on I found out, they want to get rid of the government officers, teacher, educate people, student, that anyone that have knowledge, have education. So I think a lot of people went to that university and gathered, and they took them, a whole family. I believe it's probably 10 to 20 truckload. I mean, people. It's not like school bus. No, this is just like a cargo truck. Just open, just like a 24-foot, 26-foot, just like a cattle, you haul cattle truck.
Right.
So they fit that. It's one truck, it fit probably, I say, maybe 60 to 70 people, probably up to 100, I guess. So they took them to one place. They took these people between Battambang and Golbere. That's where the road I need to go home. It's the same road. So they took them over there to kill. They kill them all. For the first batch, I call it batch, they just put them not far from the road because, they cannot get off the road that far because, there's no road. I mean, most of them is just like a field, a rice field, and a lot of water. It's no way that they can get off that road too far. About 20 truckload. I didn't see that. They let these people all in one group and use a machine gun and just kill the whole family, small, big. I mean the whole family because, they want the whole family. So you're talking about if it 15 truck, it's more than 1,000 people. You cannot kill them all. Even you use machine gun. They kill a few of them, got away and run. That's what I heard. And then the second batch. Now, the first batch is
Nobody knows.
Nobody know.
What's
They
going to
have
happen.
no idea.
So they follow the rules.
So the second one is still follow the rule. And then all the people that got out went back to Battambang, spread every word. They said, don't go because they kill us all after 2 hours. Get on that truck and everybody died because they kill. Yeah. So the word is spread out, and then everybody know now. And now you don't know who work for the government, who is the wealthy, because now in the first and second or third, and people didn't know, had no idea. They just go ahead and show up. They said, "I'm work for the government. I'm a Navy. I'm all of that." But now you have no idea because if you just threw away your ID and then nobody know. I think the Khmer Rouge won't know that you work for the government. I was still in the city, so then after maybe 1 week, and then I walk. I got out to walk. I got out to walk to Montgomery because my parents, mom and dad, waiting, the whole family waiting over there, and they were so worried what's going on. So I walk by. Sometimes I see the what you call it, reteco. It's use the cow and pull the I don't know,
little cart.
The little cart.
Yeah.
Not little cart. It's pretty big wheel.
Big wheels, yeah.
Yeah, and so
how many days?
It took me 10 days.
Wow.
It's not that far, but it took 10 days. So when I left the Battambang, I think the total between Battambang to Montgomery probably 50 miles or 60 miles. So after I left about maybe about 30 miles out of the city, Battambang, you saw a dead body all over, in a pond, in everywhere. It just spread. And then, Cambodian weather, it's so hot. You're talking about humid and 90 degree, 100 degree, and the dead body, you're talking 1,000, more than 1,000 dead body lay all over the place. It smells so bad. It was so horrifying, so horrible. You see children, and then it's no water. I think I was drinking a dead body in front of, in that pond there. What can you do? I mean, you're thirsty. So just want to get home.
Hey everybody, and thanks so much for listening to the first couple episodes of Death in Cambodia, Life in America. If you guys are enjoying the episodes so far, I would love if you guys can hit the subscribe button or give us a review. It really, really helps us out in terms of the ratings, and let me know what you guys think. Episodes will be released every Sunday, and I actually also encourage you guys to follow us on Instagram as well. I will be trying to post content that kind of aligns with what we're talking about in the episodes. For example, the Mercedes that my dad drove. So it'd be kind of fun so you guys can follow and see the pictures along with the stories. If you guys have anything else, feel free to DM us via Instagram or check us out on our website. I will catch you guys next week.